Let's just take a moment to breathe. A moment of breath. And I guess in a moment of appreciation for this incredible yew tree that I am sitting under. The amount of wisdom that this tree must have to be able to grow so big and so vast, and the amount of shade that it's offered to so much of creation. And alhamdulillah, it's offering some shade for us today. And as I'm sitting here in this space of deep breath and appreciating that moment of breathing, I'm also giving moment to my scent as well, my sense of smell. Because I think we forget so much how much our sense of smell is integral and so important when it comes to how we navigate through this world, and how much it informs us about our surroundings as well. So I often sit and I often do like to take those deep breaths and be in this moment of appreciation. I think particularly since the pandemic and a year after the pandemic, so many of us are now starting to appreciate more the ability to not only breathe, but also the ability for smell and how much that smell is offering us. It reminds me of a time where a few years ago I was traveling with my sister, and as we walked into somebody's house, she whispered to me, "Oh, Rabiah, it smells like salawat." She literally said to me, "It smells like salawat." And I turned to her and I thought that was such a poetic thing to say, but there was a part of me like, what does salawat smell of? What is the smell of salawat? And I came to realize that for her, as she stepped into that house, she was taken back to the weekly gatherings of burda, the weekly gatherings of dhikr, where every week there would be burning of Eritrean frankincense to prepare the house for the dhikr. There would be freshly made lemon balm tea, and there would be lentil soup. And so for her, as she stepped into that house, she was taken back to that place of salawat through those smells. And it reminded me of the times when, I don't know, when I was 7 years old, possibly younger. And whenever I now smell freshly cut grass, I am taken back to being a 7-year-old, playing in the fields of my school, having grass fights, and making bird nests with the freshly cut grass. I am immediately transported to that moment whenever I smell freshly cut grass. Or when I step into a coffee shop and I smell coffee, and I am immediately transported to the early nights of Qiyamul Layl with my teacher. And frankincense would take me to a place of salawat. And it just reminds me how powerful our scent is, and how it connects us to what they now know to be one of the oldest parts of our brain. A part of memory, a part of emotion, and even a sense of place. And all of this can be influenced just by smell. And I know now that we look at the advertising and marketing industry and how they've really utilized the impact that smell has on us to a point where we know that certain shops know that if they have a particular citrusy smell in their shops, the buyers will buy more. They'll be energized and confident enough to buy more. Or we look at our perfume industry and how we are believed into thinking certain smells will make us more confident or more successful or more attractive. And I think we all know that smell and fragrance definitely has an impact on our memory, on our sense of being, on our emotions and our sense of place. And this is why we utilize them in our own ways. And we know because for centuries and centuries, therapy has been used, aroma has been used as therapy. Aromatherapy is one of our oldest forms of traditional medicine. And not only does it capture the smell, it's also capturing the essence of the flowers. And this is practiced in Unani medicine and the prophetic medicine. So the more I sit with the different smells, and particularly when I think about how I use it in practice for myself and with my patients, I started to realize how smell and fragrance can be used to plant seeds in a moment. How particular moments in time can be captured by smell. And so I found myself using different smells and different fragrances during times of prayer. Whether that be just gently dabbing a little bit of fragrance, some frankincense or some rose just before I was about to pray, or using rose water to wash our hands during Mawlid or Salawat, or burning rosemary at Fajr time to help my concentration. Yes, I was benefiting from these smells. Yes, they were keeping me focused, keeping me energized, and relaxing me and putting me in a meditative state. But at the same time, I was training my sense to associate these smells with salawat. So that eventually, whenever I smelled rosemary or rose or mandarin or patchouli, it would take me straight back to being in a place of remembrance to Allah. It reminds me of one time my teacher, when we were studying Seerah, they told of this really beautiful story of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Sahabas, and how some would collect the perspiration, the sweat of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and use as perfume, or how it was related of how some would shake the hand of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam or touch the skin of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they would report their hands smelling of musk for the next 3 days. And with these stories, my teacher would say to me, whenever you smell anything beautiful, always say salawat with it. As you're burning your frankincense, as you're burning your rosemary, or your cedar wood, or your birch, to say a salawat with it. To remind you that as beautiful as this may smell, and as happy as this makes you smell, and as much as you want to be around this smell, there will never be anything that smells as sweet as the fragrance of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And all these smells that we're using are just reminders for us to remember that the most fragrant one is the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So in these times of disconnect, in these times where our sense of smell may be used in a way to exploit us. Let us use these smells, these fragrances, as moments of anchors for salawat, of planting seeds in different moments of time and different places that we can refer back to as a memory, as a moment of remembrance and a moment of prayer. And I ask Allah that we are amongst those who are seen to be those that are fragrant with salawat, that our words become beautiful and fragrant, that our dhikr becomes fragrant. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad.